predominantly what we do is we offer guard and patrol services through franchising and utilizing technology on properties across the globe. And so, really, we have franchise owners that are looking to create peace of mind by providing security services to their clients. It's a $250 billion global industry. So it's a huge global industry. You see that there's really three functions of it. You have your police, which provide, government, local market security. Then you have your military, which provide largely international elements of creating peace of mind. Then you have your private security. So the police, they're not going to go on private property. The military, they're really not going to be in the communities unless there's a national disaster. And so private security really provides security for the private properties, and that industry is $250 billion. So it's driven by the consumer's needs, and obviously we are disrupting that market. So it's private pay, peace of mind. Continues to grow. I mean, I would say in the United States it's 40 billion, and so that's still a pretty sizable part of the market. But what really is the underlying side of that is as assets grow, as people have more to protect, and quite frankly, the government is less organized, or maybe it doesn't have the same focus on military and policing as it has before, or the same respect, and criminals get a little bit more fluid, then it expands. A great example is kind of in the last couple of years, the skimmers of credit card scanners. So imagine you go to a gas station. There's actually an overlay they put on that gas station credit card scanner that can scan your number and steal your card. And so usually police don't have the time to go do that. It is not a victim crime necessarily. The credit card companies are there. But that's something as a private security company, we can go and verify that the ATMs, the gas station, anytime you use your credit card, no matter which way it is, there's not someone trying to steal that number to do that. So those are security related concerns. Other things are parking issues. So we have all sorts of parking issues on properties, private properties, where you have people maybe at a neighboring business that are parking and taking up the spots that business may want to use for their customers. And then certainly, obviously, noise concerns or complaints on residential apartments. More and more consumers are renting and not buying. However, they don't want to live next to a noisy neighbor, somebody that their kids may be, running around and whatever else. So they contact security to address that where the police would not otherwise do so. So there's a series of things disrupting our lives that is an increase of security as the way to address that. Differentiator is the character of the individual, the franchise owner. Because if they do not aspire to really care for the customer and client and lead their teams accordingly, the franchisee is not going to have the success they could have. So everything else can be taught. Character, I've realized, does not change as a franchise owner. However, their training and learnings do. What they know day one and they know year 10, that's developed and grown as they've learned. However, largely the way they approach things and their character has not. So the first thing we look at is people that want to be a leader, want to be a business owner, and really care about creating peace of mind, or our primary objective. Then we'll teach them the other and train them on the other skills. The key is having the right people, because the right people bring in the right people, and you can always train the right people. And so I think that's the key element to the right franchise owner. So we really have 5 phases of our franchise growth. And the first phase is really what we call income replacement. So they're starting out of that business, they open day one, and they're just trying to get enough income that they may have otherwise earned as an employee. The next one is lifestyle change. So phase 2, so that gets them to about $500,000 a year in revenue. Starting any business. It's perfect for an owner-operator model, that they're operating and owning that. The next phase is really income replacement. By then they have a key manager. And that's really between $500,000 and $1 million in annualized revenue. 3 is really where you're building a management team. At that point, it is a transition to potentially having an investor. So an investor could come in early and have the resource to build a management team with the hopes they can build a business that'll have a longer investment cycle, or partner with someone that's already built that management team, somewhere between $1 million and $2.5 million in annualized revenue, and much beyond that. Because after that, we are now seeing people get institutional investment, so private equity money. Usually when they get 4.5 to 5 million in revenue and they built their business over 3 to 5 to 7, in some cases 10 years, that's where an institutional investment, a private equity investment, would exit that local or small time investor. So it happens at each stage. And so it really is at its stage as to where the business is at versus the model independently, because the model can be invested at different levels based upon the interest of the investor and or owner operator to build it accordingly. Really, we start in the apartment sector and the housing sector because the decisions are made the most expediently and they have a defined budget. So we've done research, and um, there's 5 material reasons why people leave apartments. Right? They either get a new job and that relocates them. They can afford a more expensive apartment. They add a family member, or their personal circumstances have negatively changed financially. They can't afford. They move back home. Whatever. And the fifth one is security related. Their neighbor's too loud. They can't find a parking spot. Whatever the case may be. Contrary to popular belief, it's never around the amenities because they recruit to an apartment for the granite countertops, the pool, and these other things. They leave because of security related matters or some financial consideration that might have changed. So 20% of the reason people are leaving are security related. So we go to the clients and we realize, hey, we're helping you increase and retain your occupants. You've spent all this money to get to come here. Now we want to help you get them to stay here. And so initially when they launch, we go to the apartment communities in the area, communicate our message, and then we build them to that income replacement level. So by 20 clients, with 20 clients, our average client's 25,000 a year, 20 clients would get them to that level. So we go typically adding 1 to 2 clients a month to get them to that level, and that's our goal and objective. There's thousands of brands, 5,000, I believe, at least. And so it really comes down to one, first of all, somebody that wants to be in the service business, someone that understands that we don't offer a product, we offer people. And so you got to be willing and able and desire to lead people and not have a hamburger or something that you're delivering, as an example. That's one. The other is it's a low cost, right? I mean, in fact, our franchise concept, anyone can come in and get in, apart from the salary they need to take in, in some cases, depending upon the down payment, even as little as $10,000. As opposed to McDonald's, you're committing to a multi-million-dollar building. So it's low cost. We even finance payroll when you have the contract, so you don't need any secondary capital or anything like that. Now, the other difference is we want someone that is a good operator. We're really looking for people that are good at managing people. We have accounts. In fact, we grow the accounts for them, but they have to be able to service them well. And that requires some element of managing people. So some people want a passive investment. You can go buy vending machines, and then the vending machines deliver the product, and that's a franchise. Or they want to be an exclusive owner operator. They do a pillar to post scenario where they don't hire anybody, they just go acquire contracts and then one-off service. So we have people with a recurring monthly revenue model interest that are willing and able to manage people, and they're the ones that are best suited for this. And money is not the primary. In fact, sometimes the money is a distraction. They may have too much money and not the desire to do the work. And we want people that are willing and able and understand to do the work to build the asset value so they could get an investor. Their run rate, their expense rate on a monthly basis, apart from their salary, because there's two components of that. That's how much do they put into the business and how much they take out of the business. So their run rate or expense is about $1,500 to $1,800 a month. That's their car payment, their fuel, and just some basic phone expenses. One client on average is $2,500 a month. So if they're doing the work, the labor associated with it, they could break even at 1 or 2 clients, which is typically 30 to 60, as much as 90 days on average. Most of our franchisees within the first 45 days are doing 3,000 a month. So they're breaking even within 45 days, let's say. Now, the income replacement is dependent upon what they were making before. So many brand new owners are saying, I'm not making any money. Correct. You personally are not making any money, but the business is not requiring you to invest more capital. Two different things. So for them to get to income replacement, which is where they really feel the effects or benefits of making money, that's usually 12 to 18 months. They needed to be roughly at about 30,000 a month or add 1 contract or 2 contracts a month to get to that point because their typical per our FDD in item 19 is about a 20% EBITDA. So if they're bringing in 300,000 a year, they're bringing in about 60,000 in income. That's the way to look at that. So I just got a listing from our top guy, and he's doing over $6 million in aggregate, and I think their profitability is between 12 and 15%. So, you know, they're pushing $1 million in income. I know we have some franchisees doing about three million a year, and he's easily doing 20%. He's bringing about 600, 700,000 in. And ironically, in his case, he started as an employee, an officer working part-time for us. He was a loss prevention guy at Target, had 4 kids, was supplementing his income by working evenings at a location for us, and then saw the franchise concept, said, hey, I'm willing to work hard and go do it. So now that he's been in it for 10 years, he's dynamically changed his life. Probably more almost than any other franchise. So we have a franchise royalty, and that's 4%, and then we have 5% in support fees, which goes to the support. So we process the payroll for all franchisees, including financing it as necessary. We provide software at no additional expense, apart from those fees, that really manage the business. Similar to how Uber works, right? You log in, you know where everything is going back and forth, and the economics are all ran through that software as well. Then we go get clients for you. We have a target list. We fly to that market. We develop relationships with them, and we build the business. We also have what we call our Candidate Advancement Program, or our CAP program. We place ads for applicants. We do the initial pre-screen of their application, and then we actually video interview them and set up a physical interview for the franchisee who conducts a physical interview, offers the employment, then they get into the payroll processing I just talked about. And then we also have a back house of all the training requirements needed in a software that they can log in as an individual once they get hired and then learn the basic proficiencies. So it's really comprehensive. It really comes down to, from a franchisee standpoint, we want someone to interface with the clients and manage the employees, because we handle all the things that can be handled on a national level. A bunch of immigrant entrepreneurs, and I've really categorized them in three ways. One, which is an original immigrant that came here exclusively for our brand. So we have 5 that relocated from another country to buy our brand in America and or Canada. Then we have them that were second generation immigrants or immigrated when they were children, you know, in their 3 to 5 years or really to come. Their parents brought them here so they can come to school. They either were married in or otherwise. Then they saw the sacrifice their parents made, and really want to build on top of that. Sometimes their parents don't necessarily speak English exclusively or much at all. And so that's another immigrant business I would categorize. And we have quite a few of those that came here and they were first generation or second generation, meaning they were born in another country and in their toddler years came here. So we have quite a few of those as well. Then we have second and third generation immigrants, obviously, and that's where their parents were here. They got a job that brought them here. They were born here subsequently, and now they're building this business to really lift the layer of the strategy of life. And so there's a whole comprehensive nature of that, and then obviously a tremendous number of employees. What I've realized is, with regards to immigrants, they understand what they've left behind and are never going to go back there. In Americans in 4th and 5th generation or 10th generation, because we all immigrated here, I guess, we don't realize what was left behind. We realize what we have today, and maintaining that lifestyle that by and large has been achieved takes away a little bit of the drive. So the drive of immigrants to succeed and be successful, I believe, makes them the most successful, or certainly in the top quartile of our franchise network, by and large, almost without exception. I think this is a great immigrant business, and I realize that's the premise of this. Because I travel, I've been to probably 40 countries across the world, and what I realize is there is an American dream, and I think as it's dissipating in America, it's real outside of America. There's people that see this as a land of opportunity, and as I travel, I can only confirm that. There is no better place to build and establish a business than America. However, what I realize is they don't necessarily have the resources, millions of dollars, and some of that is segregating them out. That's what makes this a perfect immigrant business. It's reasonably low cost. They have the work ethic and drive, and they can build an asset that can sustain their families for years to come. So that's why I was really intrigued about the immigrant business opportunity, and really as an opportunity to kind of bring two things that I think can effectively work together to aspire and build on the dreams of both parties.